We back, right? Action. So look, I'm about to tell y'all how y'all able to scale up your business. A lot of y'all was asking, well, you know, how did you go from $75 music videos to where you are now? I'm about to tell you. Either gonna get a note pen and a paper, or you're not. What I said, a note pen and a paper. A pen and a paper, or you're not. Right? Go ahead and roll that intro. Before we even get started, before I even give y'all any details, this information is free, right? All y'all gotta do is hit the like button to support me. Hit the subscribe button if you're trying to support me. I support y'all. Help me out. This information free. You know what I'm saying? The game is not free. You still gotta at least pay attention. Subscribe, comment, like, all that good stuff. Share the video. But look, how I scaled up my business from $75 to a six-figure company. When I first started out, I didn't own a camera. You understand? But I wanted to shoot videos, right? So a lot of you guys, if you're in school, when you guys have cameras at your school, you can check them out, right? So there's no reason that you can't start making money today because you can check out a camera, right? If you don't want to buy a $1,000 camera, a $500 camera, whatever, there's different websites that you can rent cameras out on for $40, $50, $80, whatever, right? It's no excuse. Okay? You're borrowing it from somebody, or you're checking it out of school, you're making a small purchase to rent it out, it can get done. But let me tell you one thing that I know everybody has. One of these, right? If you have a phone, you have a camera. I don't really know many cameras that don't have phones anymore. I said, I don't know how many cameras that have phones anymore. I meant to say phones that don't have cameras. Y'all please forgive me. Continue. I don't really know many cameras that don't have phones anymore. You might want to just catch up with times first before you watch this video, okay? How I scaled it up real quick. I started off borrowed camera, and my price point in order to quit my job was $75 per day, right? That's all the money that I was making. I go in to work, I make $75 in that day, and then I wouldn't see it for 2 weeks. And then when I did see that $75 2 weeks later, they took taxes out. You understand? My life, I couldn't do that. You know, I couldn't make a living. I was young. In order for me to quit that job, I needed to make $75 per day per however many days a week that I was working, right? To pay my little minimalistic bills that I had. So I started shooting people. I didn't care if it was a music video. I didn't care if it was a model promo. I didn't care if it was a promo video for a club. I didn't care if it was a restaurant. I didn't care if it was photography. I didn't care if it was real estate. I didn't care what it was. My price was $75. Now I kind of, regret that in a sense because I put in a lot of hours, shooting for $75 at a flat rate, right? But I did what I had to do because I was going to be at that job for X amount of hours, right? So how many hours I was going to be at work, I just knew if I did this many hours, I need to make this much money. And whatever you make now, if you're not making anything, well then just start today and then boom, now you're making something, right? So I started there, right? From doing clubs and, little things like that, you kind of meet people. Once people were knocking down my door and people were DMing me and things like that to where I was booked all the time, that's when I knew it was time for me to scale up a little bit, right? Because people were constantly contacting me and I was being overbooked. I'm shooting 3 videos in a day now, every single day. So I'm like, wow, okay, so this must be too cheap. Let me scale up. I'm going to go to 150, right? Now, along that way, I probably lost a couple of people, but 150 still was an amazing deal, you know what I'm saying? So, 150, well, now I'm making more money. So, honestly, if you think about it, from making $75 a day to making $150 in a day, I doubled my income. I doubled my income from what I was making at my job to being an entrepreneur, right? So, I wasn't mad at that at all. You know what I mean? I really looked at it like, dang, this is about to be really, really dope. So, I did that. And I think as I got better, whether I learned some new effects or I learned some new transitions or I learned some new shooting styles or I invested in more lighting or, better lenses or anything like that, I knew that I had to make the money back from the things that I just invested. So then I scaled up again, right? So I doubled that 150 to 300, right? So it didn't matter what it was, it cost 300. It was from the smallest video to the largest video. Right? I didn't know anything about half-day rates. I didn't know anything about full-day rates. Right? I didn't know anything about charging per hour. All I knew was I was making $75 a day at this job, and now I'm making $300 a day doing my own thing every day. Right? again, once I got booked and I was busy and people was calling me every day and I couldn't really take the orders in anymore, I knew it was time to scale up again, right? But by this time, I'm saying, you know what, 300, we're going to go to 750, right? If I do anything, it needs to cost $750, right? So at $750, the people that was paying the 150 and 300, they was cool with that because that was the realm of clientele that I had, right? But when I jumped to 750, it was kind of like, you know, a lot of people didn't want to pay for that anymore. You know, people didn't want to do music videos for 750. People didn't want to shoot, you know, real estate and other things like that, right? So obviously I did eventually, you know, as I was scaling up, I was learning what each market was actually doing, right? So for a music video, 750 still is kind of, you know, kind of cheap in a sense, but in the market that I was in here in Houston, 750 for a music video is actually pretty decent, right? Now if I go to like LA or, you know, somewhere else, 750 still might be looked at kind of frowned upon for a content creator, but here in Houston, it was actually a good starting point for sure. Obviously weddings, I started charging more. Real estate, I kind of broke it up into percentages based off of square footage and things like that. Birthday parties, I started kind of figuring out what my hourly rates were. For the most part, I just still kind of charged $750 depending on, you know, what type of party. If it was a quinceañera, it was a little kid, it was an adult, whatever the case may be. I never had a set price for anything, and I personally still don't have a set price for anything, just because everybody needs something different. You know, they may see a video and say, hey, I want something like this, but working for this client may be night and day. This client may have all their ducks in a row. They may have, you know, where they want to shoot, how they want to shoot. They have the actors already involved. They have this, they have that. They have all the talent, and that's the price. You know, I can give them a price for that because they got it together. This company may not have all of that, so now I have to create all these different things. So every price that I come up with is tailored to a particular client. You know, I'm not a person that have a half day rate or a full day rate. I do as far as just going and just shooting. I have a half day rate and a full day rate now, but you know, leading up to scaling up, I didn't have that. You know, I actually had to tailor, you know, certain things to certain people to make it make sense for myself and for the person. You know, and when you're content creating for people, like I said, whether that's photography, whether that's graphic design, you know, your time is important. Your time matters. So don't sit here and, you know, try to sell yourself short. Well, I'll just do it for, you know, X amount of dollars per hour. No. You're paying me for all of the time that it took me to learn this skill, right? And then people want fast turnaround time. So now you're paying for all of the time that it took me to get good and get fast. You know what I'm saying? You're paying for all of the time to where I messed up, you know, where I had to sit up overnight and watch other YouTubers, you know what I'm saying, teach me this stuff. So you're not paying for the talent right now. You're paying for everything I had to encounter, everything I had to go through. So when I show up with a $10,000 invoice, don't look at me like, what is this? You want the best? I'm going to give you the best. There's content creators out there that I used to look up to. Now I feel like I'm on their level. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm right there with them. But you got to feel that way. You got to be that person. You got to be that content creator that say, you know what? My work is good. I am worth $10,000 per shoot. I am worth $100,000 per shoot. That's where I put myself at. I'm not settling anymore. You know what I'm saying? So definitely take the time, you know, start where you gotta start, and then scale up as you go based off of, you know, your demand, client needs, as well as, you know, anything extra that may need to go in that. You know, before I didn't know about charging for pre-production. I didn't know about charging for post-production. You know, all I knew was I had a camera, and I think I eventually had a gimbal. And I would just go out and I'm looking for locations, I'm looking for talent, I'm looking for models, I'm looking for all this stuff in the beginning. I'm doing treatments, I'm shooting it, I'm editing it, I'm lighting it up, doing sound and everything, not knowing that all of these different positions need to be accounted for. You know, but now we have a team to where, okay, boom, I can send this person do this, this, and this, but that's still 4 or 5 different salaries at a shoot. So the client does have to pay for that. You know, but if you're a content creator who just does everything in-house, charge for your time. Charge for what you know, your knowledge, your ability. Because if your client could shoot that video or take those pictures or do those graphics or build that website, they wouldn't have reached us. They wouldn't have reached out to you, you know? So that's just a quick little story synopsis on how I was able to scale up my business. You know, we're well into 6 figures now. Thank God this year we're working on that 7 figure. We want that $1 million mark. But we're going to keep grinding. We're going to keep getting it in. I'm going to keep giving y'all this knowledge. Look, I'm dropping gems on y'all. I'm helping y'all out. If y'all want to know something, ask me. Comment below. You know what I'm saying? Shoot me an email, whatever it is. I will do my best to get back to everyone. Right? Like the video. Share it with your friends. Do not hold this information to yourself. That is selfish. Why would you do that? Alright? So until next time, I am Carter K. Dreams don't have deadlines.